welcome to the Angerati studio at Charge 2016. We're now joined by Janine Finnell, founder of Leaders in Energy and the Clean Energy and Ambassador. Janine, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing fine, Ade. Really have been enjoying the conference here.
Great. In terms of the show so far, what's been sort of the most interesting issues that you've seen, most interesting discussion points for you?
I am just really intrigued and enthralled by what I've been hearing so far in terms of the need to move to a cleaner energy economy and the roles that utilities can play in a changing role. It used to be one directional in terms of utilities pushing out the information, and increasingly just hearing more about the need for engagement and changing social media. So really looking forward to that, because I think it aligns a lot with the work that I do on social media and just really harnessing the power of the new digital revolution.
Okay. Well, I think it's probably a poignant point for us to, a good place for us to ask you about Leaders in Energy as a group, as a movement. You know, tell us a bit more about yourselves and how you're working at the moment.
Very good, Ade. That's one of my favorite topics, so I'm really glad that you asked me that question. And, you know, Leaders in Energy kind of just formed organically. I started a LinkedIn group and just started to bring together people to discuss energy and environmental issues, and then we moved from online to actual engagements where we would meet for happy hours and other kinds of events, and then started bringing in formal speakers, and really just started to grow quite a bit. So we're up from, you know, started with 25 people and now almost tenfold increase, you know, about 2,400 right now. So just really wonderful to see. I think you've referred to it as people power, and I really like that in terms of engaging people not only in the Washington, D.C. area, but also around the United States and world. And as a matter of fact, had a chance to meet one of my members last night, who's a Leaders in Energy member in Iceland. And I guess she was attracted to me because my title is Clean Energy Ambassador, and she's very interested in clean energy and really making a difference, and how important that is in Iceland and really all around the world.
Okay, so there's two questions that come to mind. One about clean energy, which has been a key focus at the event so far. But the other, and probably the one we'll deal with first, is the makeup of your community. So, you know, it does say Leaders in Energy, but what's the scope of your members? Is this sort of across power and utility executives, community leaders, policy drivers? What's the mixture like?
That's an excellent question, and we attract really a variety of people, including entrepreneurs, startups, people that are interested in new technologies, as well as, you know, Washington, D.C. as a government hub. So we give a lot of people Department of Energy, Environmental Protection Agency, as well as universities. So we're really kind of blessed being in the Washington, D.C. area just because of the rich variety of the institutions and people that reside there. But in terms of the actual sectors themselves, I would say, you know, we're called Leaders in Energy, but we also deal with sustainability as well. So there's a lot of cross-cutting applications. So in addition to kind of the traditional utilities that you're talking about, we've also tried to attract people from fossil energy as well. In fact, our 2,300th member is from Houston and in oil and gas. So I was really glad to see that, because I think we're going to need all the energy sectors working together to transition to a clean energy economy. So we're not just renewables, we're open to nuclear energy, energy efficiency, as well as the nexus between energy, water, energy, food, really all encompassing. So we're breaking down the silos that we need to really move ahead.
Okay, well, let's touch on the other subject then. So clean energy itself, or the other point I was going to ask you about. It's something you're really passionate about. And in the context of this event, how big a deal do you think clean energy will be in terms of delivering or driving real brand value for some of the companies involved?
That is an excellent question, and I think we're seeing kind of a continuum in terms of where this is right now. You know, my paper, and I'm kind of jumping ahead here in terms of what I was looking at.
You beat me to it already.
On green pricing was just looking at kind of the strategic value of clean energy. And, you know, Iceland here is a beautiful example in terms of how they're 100% clean energy in terms of electricity, and how they're really using that to drive the value of green energy. So in our paper, basically looking at green pricing programs where you pay a premium. So if you're interested in green energy yourself as a consumer, that's something that you can purchase and pay a little bit more. But what is kind of interesting is communities where it's enabling more the two-way conversation between the utilities and consumers, where like if you're a commercial customer, you can have like a coupon book and use that to connect with some of your other green community members. So that's another level there. And then Mid-American Energy is one utility that we particularly thought was quite impressive in terms of raising the bar in terms of a renewable energy vision, where that's really their whole core of their utility and where they're moving in terms of some of their large wind energy projects in Iowa. That was just one of the utilities that caught our attention, by no stretch of the imagination the only utility involved in green energy, but just one of the ones that kind of caught our attention.
Okay, and for those of you wondering about this report and you know, getting into to grips with the details, we'll be making a short summary available to you via our digital magazine. So you'll see a link to that. Obviously, Janine's obviously easily contactable through her group. You can't get rid of her; she's there, and love to talk to you. But look, let's hone into the points here. So, you know, one of the key strengths and your ability to pull together that report was leveraging the community, and how, you know, how do you think leaders in energy, you know, and using sort of these kind of, you know, bottom up, top bottom, top to the bottom approaches will really help pushing forward, you know, clean energy initiatives, you know, the wider sustainability debate, and ultimately the brand image of energy?
That's a great question, and I love how you talked about the top, you know, bottom up, top down.
I'm not sure which
and
is.
yeah, we've got all encompassing here, because I guess one of the things I'm really excited about, and we heard this from our last speaker today, actually, Tamara, who was mentioning all the different generations. I just feel that that is really an important issue in terms of one of the things we try to do is to not just only cater to one generation. You know, we're really excited about millennial, Gen X, baby boomer, World War II generations in terms of bringing everyone together to confront the issues that we are seeing in climate change, and to harness that talent, Ade, in terms of education and just everything that is needed to move ahead in terms of the clean energy transition.
Brilliant. Well, I guess the place for us to bring things to a close will really be around your hangouts, and you're becoming notoriously famous for these. In fact, my first engagement with Leaders in Energy was on a wireless Wi-Fi unlicensed spectrum debate, not for telecoms. Oh no, it was for the utility sector, so that got my attention. In the context, again, of clean energy and maybe branding, do you have any hangouts that we should watch out for? I think you just did your on debate in quite recently as well.
Yes. We had the undebate, I know you and I talked about. We were kind of excited about that in terms of bringing people together and having a marketplace of ideas. So rather than just two parties, we brought in a bunch of parties to discuss these ideas in terms of politics and energy and sustainability. But in terms of upcoming venues, we generally have one event once a month in the Washington, D.C. area. And going back to the 4-generation theme, we are looking for people to nominate people that they feel have made an impact, and we're interested in really hearing their transformational stories. You know, what really got them involved and passionate in terms of wanting to get involved and maybe have a career transition in this area.
Well, there you've heard it first. If you think you've got someone you want to nominate or put on the hot seat, definitely contact Janine and the Leaders in Energy team. Thank you, Janine, for that interview.
Thank you, Ade. I greatly enjoyed it. So nice to meet you in person.
Hey, it's always a pleasure. And thank you as well for tuning into this session. If you'd like to hear more about clean energy initiatives, and how getting people and people power together to move transformation in the sector, please check out some of our wider interviews as well and the digital magazine. Thank you.